Greetings, dear friends, fellow programmers, and those aspiring to be. If you have watched the previous video, you probably have a solid understanding of scopes in JavaScript. But today, we will be taking it one step further into the concept of scope chaining. This is where real magic starts to happen in JavaScript. So let's get this party started and learn a thing or two. Alright, we learned what global, function, and block scopes are in JavaScript. But now let us talk about the way how JavaScript engine finds variables using something called scope chaining. You can imagine it as JavaScript looking for treasure, and the treasure are our variables. And JavaScript is trying to find them by following a specific path. Sounds exciting, right? Well, let us break it down. Scope chaining is like a ladder, and JavaScript is climbing this ladder, starting from the current scope where we are referencing some variable, and the JavaScript engine is going to search for that variable first in the scope where it was referenced. And then if it does not find it in that scope, it will go to the outer scope, and to the outer scope, and outer and outer and outer, as long as it doesn't reach the global scope. And if it doesn't find it in that road, it means that variable does not exist in that context, and you will get a reference error, of course. And here's a visual representation of the stuff I was just saying. Basically, JavaScript starts from the bottom and climbs its way up all the way to the global scope. And it's searching for a variable, and as soon as it finds it, it will stop the search. It will search no longer when it finds it. So when you have referenced a variable that was defined in the same scope where it was referenced, JavaScript engine will not look for it in all the outer layers of the application. It will not search for it in outer scopes or global scopes, because it has it at its disposal already. Why would it waste resources? Let us take a quick look at the example I have prepared for you. I think that's the best way to understand what I'm talking about. In this example, inner function, because it is the innermost function, it has access to all the variables from the outer function and all the variables from the global scope. So when we try to log these three variables, everything will work as expected. Do not trust me? Let me show you. And here we are. We have global, outer, and inner variables being printed. So everything seems to be working exactly as we expected. That is because our scope chaining is going to try to find inner variable, and it finds it immediately because it is in the same scope as the place where it was referenced. Then it searches for outer variable. It searches for it in the inner function scope. It doesn't find it. So it widens the search to the outer function, and now it is found. It is inside of the outer function, so basically it will get printed and the value is found here. And finally, when we try to reference global variable, we search for it in the inner function first. It is not found. Then we widen the search into outer function, and it is still not found. Then it again widens the search to global scope, and now it is found, and that is why it can be displayed as we expected. And that is exactly how scope chaining works. I can see that was too easy of a challenge for you, so I want to spice things up and introduce a bit more complex scenario. So let us do that. And here we have quite a few functions nested inside of each other. And we also have block scopes created as well. So let us go through the flow of figuring out how the JavaScript is going to find values for each of these references. We're going to start from the innermost part of the application where we are referencing variables. First, we are trying to print block let var. It is found in the block scope that we are basically referencing it for. And as soon as we start the search, we found it already because it is in the same scope as the place where it was referenced. So it is immediately displayed. Then we proceed to the block const variable, and it is also in the same block scope where it was referenced. So scope chaining has a very little job that needs to be done. Then we're proceeding to third variable. We start the search in the block scope of the if statement, and we do not find it. Then we expand our search to the first outer scope, and that is the third function scope, where we have defined this variable, so it is displayed, and we're done. The scope chaining is ended. Then we're trying to reference second variable, and we again start the same routine. We are starting from the block scope of the if statement, it is not found. Then we expand, we search in the third function scope, it is still not found. Then we again expand our search to the second function, and we manage to find it. So we're displaying the value. Then the next one is first variable, and again, scope chaining is going to start from the block scope, then to the third function, then to the second function, and then when it reaches the first function, it finds it and it displays the value. And finally, when we are trying to display global variable, we are again going to start from the block scope, we do not find the variable. Then we expand our search to third function, we again do not find the variable. Then we expand to second function, we again do not find the variable. We expand to first function scope, we again do not find the variable. And when we expand to global scope of our application, we finally manage to find the global variable, and it gets displayed as we expected. So that is exactly what is going on in the JavaScript engine when you write the code that we just did in this example. I hope that you have much clearer image about scope chaining and how JavaScript is searching for all of your variables when you reference them. And in order to become an amazing developer, this concept you have to understand and master. Go back through code that I just explained and try to figure out what is happening in the whole process, and then master it. If you struggle along the way, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below this video, and I'll gladly try to help you out understand everything in great detail. I hope you enjoyed scope chaining in JavaScript, and if you did, I kindly recommend you to subscribe to the channel, because a lot more fun and educational videos are coming your way. Because in the next video, we will be extending our knowledge even further on scopes in JavaScript, because we will be talking about lexical scopes. So if that sounds like fun, make sure you are there. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy coding!